Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Football Podcast, your weekly dose of everything football. I'm your host, Massimo Shalcheski, as always, and this is going to be episode 11. We are joined once again by Austin Baldwin, and we are going to talk about the recent events in the Australia Cup. Austin, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, I'm really appreciate it. I'm happy to be here again.
Yes, so obviously, talking about the Australia Cup now, this is the first time on the podcast that we are going to talk about the competition in Australia now. So starting off in WA, so our local team, Kingsway Olympic FC, and their incredible run in the Australia Cup. Austin, do you want to share some insights into what happened in that chaotic match against, obviously, Melbourne Victory?
Yeah, I was actually at that game as well, and the new built stand behind the goal was just absolute limbs in the game. And started off, Victory went 1-0 up. It was a very good goal, very good finish by Valadon, just cut inside, finessed up the post and in, and then Kingsway crossed into the box, handball penalty. Oxborough took that penalty so well to equalise, and then Keegan Jelacic scored on the stroke of halftime, who is also an ex-Glory player, matter of fact, scored at the stroke of halftime, which was very annoying for Kingsway. But Kingsway, doing what they do, got back, equalised it to make it 2-2 with Hobson. It was a scrap in the box from a corner. They were trying to clear the ball, Melbourne, but Kingsway got it. It was just a kerfuffle in the box, and then Hobson just slapped it in. And then 87th minute Victory with a peach of a goal to make it 3-2. And then the substitute for Kingsway, Liam Boland, the highest goal scorer in Australia Cup history, got the equaliser with a tap-in. What a brilliant run that was by Labib as well to get the assist from right back. And then extra time, Kingsway got a penalty. Boland, doing what he does in the Australian Cup, scored again. And Kingsway with a historic win against the A-League runner-ups. What a game.
Yeah. What a game indeed. Now, obviously, Kingsway, they are not new to this competition. Obviously, last year, they versed an A-League side in Adelaide United at home. Around this time last year, unfortunately, they did not go through after that game. There was a pen in that 84th minute to put hope after they were 3-1 down. They could not rescue it as they were knocked out last year in the round of 16. This year, unfortunately, again, they were knocked out in the round of 16 to Brisbane City after it ended 1-1 with Kingsway going 1-0 up. But obviously, Brisbane City getting that equaliser and beating them on pens 4-3.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking for Kingsway. They were 1-0 up, and then Brisbane City got just a cheeky equaliser, and then they just won on penalties, which was very sad for Kingsway. But everyone in WA is proud of them.
Yeah, talking about WA still. So obviously we have, along with Olympic Kingsway FC, we had Stirling Macedonia, which is another local club from WA, and they ended up getting knocked out as well to a very, very good team from NPL Victoria as they travelled to Avondale. And they lost, unfortunately, 5-1, who currently, right now, Avondale are first in NPL Victoria. Now, that is a very good team right there. Won't you agree, Austin?
Yeah, very, very good team. Like this, still like the NPL and WA, obviously still top quality football, but over east in New South Wales and Victoria, it's just a whole nother level. Like the intensity's better, the quality's better. It's just an insanely good league in Australia, and and especially Avondale being top of Victoria NPL, and for a team that's like fifth in WA NPL, versing top of the league in Victoria, it's always going to be a tough task.
Yeah, unfortunately, so that is WA's run down. So there is no more teams currently in the Australia Cup from WA, but we do have some cup sets to mention. Now, obviously, this is the Australia Cup, the magic of the cup, as they call it, just like the FA Cup in England. Basically, every single team in Australia actually gets a chance at going all the way to the final of the Australia Cup. I remember it started all the way back in like March that I saw like very, very like small clubs in WA, like they were playing other clubs, trying to compete. But now we're basically into the semi-finals with 2 games to go. But yeah, so obviously cup sets to mention. We have APR Leichhardt's 2-0 win over the reigning A-League champions Melbourne City in the round of 32. Austin, did you see that one?
I didn't see that one. I did see the score, and I was like, wow. Just a NPL team from what, New South Wales? Just beating the current A-League champions, which is quite crazy. Matter of fact, there's also many other underdogs as well, like Heidelberg United, who just absolutely destroyed Wellington Phoenix 4-0, which is a crazy game as well. And Wellington and Perth Glory got knocked out by Wellington, but Glory aren't that good anyway. But yeah, Heidelberg United 4-0 winners. Just so many underdogs in this Australia Cup. It's just, and both of the underdogs, Avondale and Heidelberg, are both in a semi-final. So and they're both on separate games. So we could potentially see an all NPL final.
Yes, that is correct. So obviously Heidelberg United are still going all the way now, still mentioning that club. I actually know a person personally from that club in my age group. I think he's playing their under 18s for Heidelberg United. But do not forget, before they beat 4-0 Wellington Phoenix, they did actually beat another A-League side, Western Sydney Wanderers 3-0 at home. Now, Heidelberg United are currently sitting second in NPL Victoria, so we know they are a very good club indeed.
Yeah, that is true, to be fair. And you know what? They could honestly win this whole competition. They've had a harder run than Avondale, if you really think about it. They've probably had a harder run than most teams in this Australia Cup. And they've absolutely humbled and destroyed professional A-League teams. Like, they could honestly win the Australia Cup. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, it actually is a possibility because obviously, so they're on one side of the draw into that semi-final, and then you've also got Avondale, who are on the other side of the draw because they won 6-2 over Brisbane City. And do not forget that Brisbane City just beat Olympic Kingsway 1-1, but 4-3 on pens. So Avondale showing no mercy to Brisbane City and booked themselves a place into the semi-finals. Now, we do know that there are 2 more quarterfinals to go. Obviously, there was one that just passed the other day between Sydney FC and Auckland FC, with Auckland FC winning that on penalties. By any chance, do you see any reels about that?
I did see the penalty. I was watching City versus Tottenham on Saturday night, and the penalty shootout was on during that time. So me and my mate watched the penalty shootout. There was this one Sydney player who absolutely scuffed his penalty. It was terrible. I don't know who it was, but it was like some young lad. And apparently, according to my mate, he's like a baller for Sydney. But anyway, he was stepping up, doing his own little stupid little run-up. And then he barely got connection on the ball, and it was just a P-roller wide. It was an awful penalty. Awful penalty. And just for that alone, Auckland deserved to win that penalty shootout.
Yeah, I was watching some reels that were done by the Football Australia official and the Australia Cup official page on Instagram, and I saw the final penalty, which actually booked Auckland City's place in the semi-finals. Basically, the guy took the run-up, he slipped over, took a double touch, and it missed the whole goal completely. I mean, you kind of have to question the professionalism and how these, like the quality of these players in professional A-League teams really this season.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the quality in Australia is still quite good. Like in Australia, we've got so many ballers as well, so much talent in the country. I think the talent in Australia is significantly better than what we've had for the past couple of years, though.
Yeah, I'd say so. We obviously, I think social media coming out and exposing more bowlers and all of that, obviously with the big, hefty AU bowlers, as everybody know, in Australia, like the biggest platform, like that show, upcoming bowlers and everything. But that's what I think. So Australia obviously has that next generation coming through. Would you say?
Yeah, yeah, I would say that, to be fair. Like, there's a bright future for Australian football. So many youngsters coming in through the ranks. You know, we obviously saw what Australia did at the last World Cup, making the round of 16. And I feel like with all the young talent coming in and the amount of Australians that are going to play in Europe, so many are playing in Europe now. So I think the team is just going to go stronger and stronger. And Australia football is looking so much brighter, and especially in the teenage years, like under 18s, etc., etc. The Socceroos teams are just incredible, winning so many silverware. I think Australian football is just looking very bright, but I feel like everyone needs to back the game in Australia and support it to get more money in, to get more support in, etc., etc. Because that would really, really benefit Australian football a lot more than it is now.
I think obviously you mentioned that with the Australian bowlers that are playing overseas, let's not forget that Nesra Irankunda. Did you see he scored for Watford this week?
Yes, a very good free kick goal. Very, very good. He did exactly the same for Adelaide. Now he's doing it in a much better league of the Championship for Watford. It was a very good goal. Very, very good goal.
Yeah, it just showcased the talent. Obviously, him coming from Adelaide United, obviously would have played in this competition before, but just wrapping that basically up for the competition. It's basically just, we got that last game between last year's winners, MacArthur Bulls and Newcastle Jets, before the semi-finals are complete. Now, obviously, both underdogs on the different sides of the draw. So could we see maybe an NPL finalist?
There is potential for it, yes, and I get that Heidelberg have had a very, very hard run. They've gotten through it, but I feel like Auckland, they're the current premiers of the A-League, and I don't know, you'd hope Heidelberg United to win, but sometimes I just feel like the quality of the A-League team will just take over the result and just somehow nick a win, which I really don't want to happen, but I feel like most people would want to see a Heidelberg and Avondale final.
Be absolutely class. I mean, imagine how many people will be watching that, because obviously the Australia Cup in Australia, do you hear much about it, exposure wise?
What do you mean by that?
If you go social media or just in the streets in general, clubs, anything, is there any promotion of the Australia Cup? Do you actually know what's going on, really?
Not really, no. I mean, I do know that it's going on, but there's nobody's really advertising it, I guess, if that's how you want to put it out like that.
I think there needs to be more promotion into the cup, because obviously, imagine if an NPL side wins the cup, the magic of the cup, it will go crazy. Yeah. It might even make the news. Who knows?
Yeah, it should make the news. It's basically like a League One team winning the FA Cup. Imagine if that happened in England, it would blow up. But with an NPL team winning it in Australia, because everyone's just so focused on the AFL and the cricket and the rugby, and nobody's really promoting the Australia Cup, the actual football, which is quite sad to see. Another example of this, AC Milan versus Glory, when Milan came to Perth the other day for their pre-season game against Glory. I've never seen HBF Park so packed out ever in my life since 2018, 2019. And they didn't come because of Glory. They all came from Milan, which is quite sad to see, because the backing of football in Australia is really little, because Glory has been on such a decline lately, and nobody's coming for Glory. Nobody can be bothered. Just come and watch the A-League and support Australian football.
Yeah, I think, firstly, I think it's quality-wise. Obviously, Perth Glory haven't been strong in the last few years, and if they're not producing that sort of quality on the pitch, no one's really going to turn up, are they? That's really the thing. It's the quality that comes into question at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's it's kind of woke that it's like a whole like bandwagon sort of thing going on. Because when Glory were like a top 3 team, premier team 6 years ago, everyone was going. But now when Glory is shit, nobody's going. So still support your local. Don't hop on the bandwagon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there needs to be more support from the federal government, more funding into football in general, in grassroots, obviously
Yeah.
protect your grassroots, and also more funding in the sport in general, because I thought you said that it's like the most participated sport in Australia for kids.
Yeah, for kids, yeah. But in Australia, like like watching sport wise, everyone looks at the cricket and the footy and the rugby. It's just so annoying because we've got so much talent in Australia and we have to take good use of it, and we have to watch more Australian football, which means the more fans that come to watch and support Aussie football, the more money that will go into the game, which means the better investments we will make, the better facilities we'll have, the better infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. More fans, more money, which means Football Australia can fund more money into the game. So support your
Yeah,
locals, support Aussie football for the sake of the sport in this country. Because Australia has
yeah,
such a diverse community. Such a diverse community. So many, lots of Africans, lots of Europeans, Italians, English, French, Spanish, the Balkans, Arabs. Such a diverse community in Australia that all love football. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I completely get what you mean. I just think personally, just in my opinion, I think needs to be more promotion around the game.
Yes, yeah,
If you promote it and like make it cheaper, make it, well, firstly, just give an example, non-league in like England, you're looking at like people in like, I don't know, like fifth or like sixth tier, right? Those people, you're only paying like 15, £10 a ticket to get in. It's pretty cheap. And then heaps of people are turning up. That's why there's more money in non-league than there ever has in England. So I think if we do the same thing in Australia, it starts down. Firstly, it starts with the federal government, then it goes to the state government, and then it goes to Football Australia, and then it goes down, to Football West and other organisations. If we get funding into the sports, if more people rock up to watch the games, there's more atmosphere, there's more clout around the game, the quality will improve, in my opinion.
yes, like making ticket prices cheaper and stuff like that. Like, you're completely right. Like, even at the start of last year, Perth Glory's owner, Ross Pelligra, he had a statement saying people under the age of 18 all have tickets for free for the Glory and Wellington Phoenix game. And the amount of people I saw in the stadium was significantly high compared to previous years. I'm not saying don't do free tickets every game, but I'm just saying from like $17 to $20, decrease it down to like 10. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, I agree. And then what they can do, if they decrease the prices on ticket prices, they can then they can get more people into the gates, filling up those seats. And those people most likely are going to spend on like the canteen at halftime, drinks, burgers, or whatever, food. And then, maybe even also, hold on, one other thing you've actually got me thinking, merchandise. Have you checked the price of merchandise
Yes.
at Perth Glory?
Decrease the price of merchandise and decrease the price of the beers and the alcoholic beverages and the food at the canteen and stuff. It is so expensive. I've had enough of it.
The merchandise is an absolute joke. I remember, I think like 2 years ago, I think it was last year, $200 for the New Jersey.
There's no way I'm spending $200 on a Perth Glory kit. There's no way.
Like,
It should
they're
be
thinking
at most 130.
they're thinking they're bloody Prem teams with that price. Mate, come on. I mean, if you just lower the prices, get more people involved in football, I think obviously more people come around the game, You know, we can support our local more, can watch A-League games more. Your MPL local team, that's where it's at.
Yes, MPL football, supporting your local, like Kingsway the other night. That was one of the most fun games I've ever been to in my life. It doesn't matter if Glory is shit. It's all about, like, it's just such a fun time. Just talking shit to the opposition, the limbs of your local team. It's just it's all local and close. It's just perfect. Like, if you just want to watch football in person, like every Saturday night, every Friday night, have a fucking good time with your mates. Local football in WA is the way to go. HBF Park on a Friday or a Saturday night watching Glory, such a fun time. Just get behind the lads.
Yeah, and just one last question. So when you did actually go to that Olympic Kingsway game, how many people rocked up to that game?
Oh, full stadium. Full stadium. Like the grandstand was for like people with like special tickets and stuff like that. That was full. The blue stand that they built in the stadium that I sat in, full. And there was people standing on the ground, like behind the goal, full. Side of near the sideline, full. On the grass, full. Behind the other goal on the grass, full. Where the scoreboard was on the left side of the stadium, all full. It was packed house. Full
Now,
house.
this is just clear evidence that if we get Heidelberg or Avondale to that final, we're going to have a packed out stadium. Imagine if it's Heidelberg and Avondale final.
Even like even that game in that I think it was a New South Wales MPL game when this team won 2-0. Flares in an MPL match. Are you serious?
I think. Yeah, I remember that. I saw. I think it was South Melbourne and somewhere else, and there was flares going off.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Just this is what I mean. Support your local. Put more money into the game. Support your local and have a fucking good time. You will make so many great memories. And just support the football in Australia. It would do the world of good for the sport in this country.
Yep, completely agree. And your opinion is absolutely correct. I stand by your opinion. And so basically, it is that the Australia Cup and basically MPL football rests on Heidelberg United and Avondale's shoulders to see can they get to that final, maybe even win the Australia Cup this year. And maybe that could revitalise and revive Australian football in general.
There's nothing better than a cup set.
100% agree.
Yeah,
we have seen many cup sets this year. Let's just say it's actually more than normal.
Yeah, more than normal for sure. Like all the A-League teams usually go through, but the round of 16 only had 6 A-League teams in it. 10 of them were MPL. And there's 12 teams in the A-League. Only half of the A-League was in the round of 16. Usually in Australia Cups, it's usually 3/4 of the A-League in the round of 16. Sometimes even the whole league.
Well, that's what we love to see, don't we?
Yeah, that's what we love to see. Only 6 A-League teams and 10 MPL. Wow. That's what you love.
Wow, indeed. Support your local, just like Austin says, and you will have a bloody good time. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Austin, for coming on the podcast again. Always a pleasure with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciated talking about football in Australia, and I hope the game will grow even more as much as it is now.
Yep. All right. Cheers, everyone, for listening to That Football Podcast. Once again, every single Wednesday, dropping a video. Do not forget to like, subscribe. Look in the description for links to our Spotify and X account. And we will see you next week. Cheers.